Welcome. I'm so glad you joined us today. My name is Litt. I'm the program director at KCRW in Los Angeles, and I have not seen the beautiful face of Yola in over a year, and I want to welcome you. Hi, Yola.
Hey! Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's so great to see your beautiful face. It's been too long, way too long.
It's been incredibly too long, and you've been here in America, right? This whole
I
time?
have been. I basically got trapped here and decided to emigrate.
Well, we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you. And you're in Nashville now. I can tell you're at Easy Eye Sound, right?
Yes, I am. These are Dan's guitars.
Well, we are here to talk about a song. And I have to say, we're all getting into this music at the exact same moment, Yola, because I haven't heard the album yet. I have only heard the song that you are sharing with us right now. And I think it kind of means we're all starting from the same place. And
Yes.
I think there's a story here that I want to get into. The song is called Diamond Studded Shoes. And give us your introduction.
Well, Diamond Studded Shoes is a song that explores the false divides that are created to kind of divide and distract us, you know. And they're created to divide and distract from the main kind of enemy. If there was ever an enemy in humanity, it's the puppeteer. And so the people in charge of the majority of the world's wealth, you know, with their stranglehold on humanity and our ability to do anything as society, at various societies. So yeah, it's a little bit of a commentary on that paradigm of existence that we don't have access to.
Right. And this song, to me, listening to it and then actually just reading the lyrics, feels like it could be a mission statement for what is to come on the album. Do you look at this song as a mission statement?
Weirdly enough, no. No, I know. It's more political than the album is, this song, but it's a part of life. And I feel as though that the record is an arc through the number of ways in which I need to stand for myself, to exert my sense of agency, one of which is in the political realm. And so we're touching on all the ways in which we as people have had to exert ourselves, especially when you're an other. You know, like if you've ever been in a group of people where you're the other, you're the token whatever, token lady, token person color, token whatever, like, you know, you would have had an experience of what it's like to have to exert yourself onto that kind of environment, to implicate your will into situations so that they serve you even a little bit. And so that's kind of the point of view of a lot of these songs, but specifically, obviously we're talking about Diamond Studded Shoes. It's from the point of view of somebody who doesn't feel like they are, you know, the very tip top of the power tree.
Yeah. Well, you know what song it reminds me of? And I know you're a Dolly fan, but as I was listening to this song over and over the weekend, I was thinking about the song 9 to 5.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because Dolly's not the top of that power tree either.
No, she's not, you know, and that's a real astute kind of comparison, because she's talking about, you know, maybe on a more management, middle management, upper management situation. But it is that idea of like power coming from the top down and affecting your life. And, you know, and so, yeah, that's kind of what this is, you know.
Is there a reason you chose this song to share with us first? Because as I said, I haven't heard the others. Is it because of this moment in time politically and coming out of this pandemic, which I hope we're coming out of?
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like aesthetically, it's a little transition from the first record. Also, it's really like inspired by my love of Tina. And you could hear that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so,
there's a happening in that song.
And, you know, like, she's a famous Tennessean, you know, and so it felt really appropriate to, you know, just because it felt like it was connected to the first record aesthetically in one way. There's a lot of different stuff going on this record, but this song feels like it's really like just, it's saying what needs to be said right now, which is we're being puppeteered, you know, and all of these kind of perceived divides are BS. And, you know, we need to be looking at why this is happening, why we're being divided in this way, because, you know, given that none of these divides are real, like, why? And so I go into a situation where in the UK, like, we had the previous Prime Minister, Theresa May, delivering a speech on austerity, the kind of policy of, you know, cutting back very, very extremely on public spending, to the point that people were starting to get really unwell and, you know, starving, dying, some really serious consequences, but all in these diamond-studded kind of pumps. So it was like really inappropriate dress for the delivery of this speech, but also perfectly appropriate for what's actually going on here.
Absolutely, and deeply and scarily appropriate.
Yes. And that idea of we're all in this together, you know, all encrusted in diamonds whilst somebody's, you know, can't even eat, is kind of where we are. And so they're like, no, don't look at me and all of my jewels. Like, look over there at that brown person. That's the reason why you don't have money. How much did those shoes cost? How many pairs of those do you have? Don't ask me these questions. Or if you do, hold me aloft and just be like, oh, doesn't she look resplendent? But don't actually hold me to account for anything. Like, and that's really, you know, it just seemed really a bit rich. And then I come over here and I see the same thing, that whole, I'm just like you, only I'm a millionaire kind of paradigm. And it's like,
well, the whole last 4 years of our existence have completely been that. And I'm laughing sort of as you're telling me this, but it's so upsetting when you really actually think about it. And I think that's one of the things about the song that gets me. And one of the reasons I was thinking about 9 to 5, because 9 to 5 is fun and we're dancing. Yes. And I was listening to this song and I was kind of dancing. And then I actually started really listening to the song. And you're doing that thing, Yola.
Every time. Tricks. I'm a trickster.
It's a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. And you're singing, we know it isn't. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm saying it's not going to be okay. Why am I smiling about this? And that's why we've got to fight. And it's like, oh yeah, but it's supposed to be rousing. It's supposed to be like, you know, it's not all just going to work out. We're not all just like the number of people that are like, oh, we need to build love and just to come together. And I'm like, babe, it ain't going to work out like that. It's the time and the effort that's gone in to separate us is centuries long and detailed and many-fold and many-layered. And like our extrication from that paradigm of thinking is going to be many-layered, you know. And so,
Did you write this song during COVID? Did you write the album during COVID? I know we're just talking about the song, but when did you write this?
I wrote this, so I went round to Erin Lee Jean's house in 2017. Like, I think at the time I was staying regularly with Alison Russell and JT Nero. Yes, we love them so much, and that I wouldn't have like been able to do either of these albums without their support, making sure I had somewhere to stay without having to spend any money. And so, yeah, that really saved my life. And but at this point, like, Rhiannon was living there as well, Rhiannon Giddens, and she was living in the bit that I live in now, or at least for the near future until I move. And so I couldn't stay there. So I stayed with Erin, and we were just like having the full-on like pajama party kind of like conversation over a bottle of wine, trying to fix the world. you know? And
that's when you put it?
yeah, and so he started like, I'm like, should we write a song? It feels like we're really wasting an opportunity. And so he picks up the guitar and he just starts playing around. I think he's in open G tuning at this time, and he starts going like, I'm like, I feel like something's happening. Keep playing that, and then like it just starts coming down, like just like the idea, and I'm like, speed writing, just like, you know, when when your hand can't keep up with what your mind's doing. So I was just like writing at great speed, and yeah, it kind of, the first verse pretty much came down like that. I had like a composite of like what the second verse is now. It was like some of the lines stayed, some of the lines we need to kind of work on. We didn't have a third verse, so we workshopped that out. And that was then what was done during the kind of coronavirus period of lockdown. We kind of just did some tweaking, but I played it out a couple times, and like the way that the response I got from it was just like so massive. I was like, I need to put this back in its holster, and like...
How are you playing out? Because that ain't happening here.
No, this was like, because I wrote it in 2017, I was able to play it out in 2018.
Got it.
So that's what it was. And so I played it in one of its old kind of guises with like just different lyrics. The structure was by and large the same. I came up with like a chorus a little later. So it was like more of an interval type song because I hadn't finished it, but I knew it had something. And then a chorus popped up and I'm like, okay, cool. I feel like I've got it. I just need to work some of these verses. And so like, and just a bit of fine tuning. And so, yeah, I brought it to the studio, and Dan and Natalie Hemby kind of helped me just like really bring it home, you know? Like, it felt as though that the energy was there. We didn't need to do much to the first verse. It felt like it was just perfect. But then we just wanted to workshop the rest of it and just get it so it was tight. And so, like, that seems to be the way that it is with me. Like, I start something and then I'm like, cool, I feel like I've got something. Help me bring it over the line. And then us three work on how to bring it over the line, you know?
But that's I mean, I love collaborating, and that seems to me like the dream way to collaborate. I also saw on the song Aaron Frazier plays drums on the song.
Yes, he does. Yes.
We love his album. We just did an interview with him at KCRW.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's outrageous. Anyway, I was like, we need like a specific kind of drummer for this whole record. And like, Dan had worked with him very recently, obviously. Our records are very close together in this regard. And yeah, like, I was like, this is the guy. Yes, we need this drummer. And then, so that was just, yeah, that was glorious to kind of have him drum.
Well, Yola, to wrap this conversation up, though I could talk to you all day long, what is this isn't specifically about the song, but maybe it's about this album and the song. What is your specific wish for us to take out into the universe as we hear this and as we get ready to hear the rest of the record?
Every song on this record, this one is probably a great one to set your mind for what I'm hoping for, which is for people to internally go through some form of paradigm shift of thinking, and I think the idea is that people get very used to being on their own island of thought, you know, and not ever really developing. Sometimes we get people that are really proud that they've managed to develop their kind of the way that they see the world or the context through which they experience things changing as they become aware of friends' experiences, of people that are different. But I really want people to be able to see things from other people's points of view, and for that to round out the way they see the world. And so this is just like a story from the point of view of another, and one of 12. you know, of stories from the point of view of another. And so this is just an example of like, this is what it might look like from a black lady's point of view, from a dark-skinned English black lady's point of view. And this can be one of your examples. This can be a good starting point.
Yola, I cannot wait for this song to be shared with the universe on April the 22nd. Thank you so much for getting together and talking about it today.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, it's just such a joy. All right.
Here. Take care.
Take care. Bye.